Hello.
Hello. Yes, we are back. We're still covering this show. I wanted to say that right off the bat because it's been a little bit since we've talked about Stars on Mars, but we didn't drop it. We're still covering it. Just want to give you guys an update on that. But as always, welcome to.
We've just been a little busy, so we're covering the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, a lot going on. We haven't exactly had time to podcast stuff, but we're here now. Of course, new episode of Conversation with Kely. As always, I'm here, my lovely beautiful co-host, Allie. How are you doing tonight, I should say, not today?
I'm doing well. It was my last day off from work and for the weekend until the weekend. And I just had a pretty chill day. I went for a walk with Magoo, and then I saw Oppenheimer tonight, and I saw Barbie last night. So great films.
Yes.
If you want to look at my reviews, just go to AlleyCatXO on Letterboxd. But yeah, other than that, just pretty chill this week.
Yes, so support cinema. We had 2 amazing original films come out. Also support Talk to Me when that comes out as well, because that's another great original film that you should definitely support. But we're not here to talk about original films. We're here to talk about what's mainly going to take up the majority of TV until the fucking studio executives get their shit together and work out an agreement with the writers and actors, which is reality TV. Here to talk about last 3 episodes of Stars on Mars. Now, I will give my perspective, and I want to hear what you say. I was starting to kind of check out of this show. I'm not going to lie to you. After episode 4, I was like, I don't really know about this anymore. I feel like there was potential, but it's really just starting to crumble. These 3 episodes really piqued my interest right back up. Like, this is exactly what I wanted in this show. I think we have some very exciting stuff to talk about here. A lot more conflict than I was honestly really expecting. And I honestly think that this twist of adding the 4 additional crewmates really did a lot for the show. It revved up so much tension, and I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season plays out. But what did you think of these 3 episodes?
I was kind of in the same boat, that it was just kind of like iffy, like after episode 4, but like these episodes really turned around. And like, yeah, the newbies definitely like really did a number, because they're just, honestly, they're pretty entertaining.
Well, it's not just that. It's also like just the emergence of newbies and things like that. I think adds a lot of interesting conflict to the show.
I think it just adds a lot of like rivalries and conflict, and just like lots of, and then like friendships. It just adds a lot more to this season, and I think it's really like picking up.
Yeah, I would say so too. And all of this to say that episode 5, there's not a ton to talk about, but I feel like episode 5 really was a great like setup episode, really kind of giving us a sense of what the rest of the show is going to be. So we start off here, and we are talking about 3 episodes, so we don't know how fucking long this video is going to be. I will get that out of the way right now, but we're going to try to talk about everything, not as, we're going to try to go through this as quickly as possible, and Kevin's going to try not to ramble on as much as he usually does. So we'll see if I can actually get away with that, but we'll see if it's actually possible. I don't think it's spoilers. I don't think it is, but we're going to try anyway. So starting off with episode 5 here. Adam says that yesterday was emotional. People he got close to left, so it feels really different without them there. They have 4 new people coming to Mars, so he's really looking forward to having all of this brand new energy in the Hab. So he talks to the AI who has been keeping him company and shaded him a bit, saying that they had friends they would like him to. I love seeing people talk to the AI, and just the responses back are so funny and so well timed. It's honestly some of my favorite parts of the show, is just seeing them interact back and forth.
Oh, I think it's really fun to watch, and it's just super entertaining for sure. Like, this is the only kind of AI I support.
Yeah, no ChatGPT supporters over here. Don't do that. But Ariel says her and Lance are incredibly different people, where they don't mesh at all, and we will definitely be getting to that a little bit later on in this episode. But yeah, let's just say these 2 are not exactly close allies, especially after this episode.
I know.
All they really want is to stay in the experiment. She says that Lance is super competitive and she will kind of take a back seat to that. She's not as aggressive about it, whereas he likes to push buttons. It's safe to say that they are really not friends at all. So Lance has a completely different opinion of Ariel, because I feel like she was kind of like fair to him, like as a player. He has a completely different view of her, where he literally a tyrant and says that there are folks you connect with and these are other ones you don't connect with, the polar opposites. That's the nature of his life. I'll just say right now, Lance is one of the biggest fucking hypocrites I've watched in a show in a very long time. He
really is.
He spent the duration of the last 2 episodes just complaining constantly about, oh, there's all these, there's all this division within sides and I just don't understand it, when he's actively contributing to it. Like, by calling her a tyrant and not actually getting to know her, it's just like, wow, way to just completely just single her out. Like, I don't know. I don't know with him. He's so bad.
Yeah, he's not that good of a player.
Yeah. So Tinashe talks about how she's been living with these people 24/7 for 8 days at this point, and they have a good game plan now. So the thing about somebody coming in here and shaking the table, they will have to prove themselves. And her and Porsha bond over the fact that the Hab is a mess, and also who their next crew members. They jokingly say that it's going to be Rachel Ray or Gordon Ramsay, hoping that it could be a chef. And Ariel jokes that they have no stove or onion, or I almost said onion, oven. Yeah, they don't have an onion. Well, they don't, because they don't have any food. But technically, I'm not wrong about that. So Porsha says that she's happy that there is a resupply on the way to Mars, and she wants the necessities, which are butter and especially cheese. I'm just going to say right now, I think Porsha has the best confessionals. Every time
she's so funny.
I just die of laughter with what she says.
She's literally she's just gold.
She really is. So Tinashe says that she feels Porsha is the most influential in the Hab, breaking down barriers of the notion that there are cliques and still has the ability to talk to anyone and be pretty democratic. She's noticing the different cliques within the Hab, which this I really liked, because I feel like the last episode, they didn't do the greatest job of talking about the cliques that are forming. Here, they really do a good job of laying out, okay, this is where everybody stands. So they're the athletes, which are Marshawn, Lance, and Ronda, who are constantly standing up for each other in a way that she wasn't expecting. So those 3 are pretty much like in lockstep with each other. And we get this moment with Ronda where she says that she feels most comfortable with athletes by default. So the good thing is now she has her support system to lean on with new people arriving. And then we get to a part of the episode that's not so fun to talk about. This next part we're going to discuss here. It's definitely a little bit more on the sensitive side. It's definitely, something that shouldn't have come up, but Lance has to run his mouth and get a little too comfortable around his fellow crewmates, and so he's eating some pita bread with Tinashe and Ariel, and just out of the blue, he talks about a podcast a month ago, which I'm pretty sure was the Joe Rogan show, which I fucking hope it wasn't, but I think that's what it was.
Oh no.
And he says that some guy wanted to ask him about transgender stuff in sports. And he said one of his most key employees are trans, and he has no problem with that. But he said that if they want to transition, they should have their own category and create a whole new division. And Tinashe obviously strongly disagrees with him on this and says that they have to care about if someone otherizes people, because it's not good for their mental health, and he shouldn't exclude them for the spaces. He attempts to apologize, but he does it in a way where it's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And he says no one's being excluded. And then he says that he sounds like a right-wing lunatic, because he does. And he says he's the most liberal person, but from a sporting perspective. And Ariel tells him that he is ostracizing people who doesn't fit into this category. After this conversation, Adam comes in basically outraged at what he just said and said it was so disheartening. Porsha jumps in, tells him that these are not the conversations he should be having here because he's not at his own kitchen table. And Lance just feels that he's pissed off way too many people. Listen, I don't want to get into this too much because, the biggest thing here is that this is just not the kind of conversation that needed to be brought up, at all. I don't know why he felt the need to even entertain something like this, especially when it's the kind of thing that he's going to disagree with people on. It's almost like he said it because he wanted to rile them up and he wanted to literally. I don't know what he thought was going to happen here. Like, did he think they were just going to like blindly agree with him? Like, no, that's not what's going to happen. This is just the kind of thing that, like, in this environment, I don't think you should be talking about, like, at all. So I just didn't even understand why he even thought to bring up this conversation.
It was just like a very unnecessary conversation.
Yeah, but then he made it even worse on himself because he does the thing where he's like, well, I'm the most liberal person ever. And when you say things like that, it basically makes you look that much worse. Like, he did everything he could to make himself look as disingenuous as possible. And I just, my God, listen, I've liked Lance up to this point. I don't think I can root for him anymore after this. I just feel like
it's just like really hard to like root for him now.
Yeah, I saw plenty of people on Twitter just talking about how it's like, are we really shocked because Lance, you know, he himself has done some controversial things in sports, so he really has no room to speak for what somebody should be doing in sports. And I would agree with this because if I'm not mistaken, he did something with like steroids or something like that, and it got him kicked out of cycling. And listen, I don't want to divulge into it too much, but like, he really has no room to be speaking about this whatsoever. And I just don't understand why he thought this was a conversation that needed to be had. So, yeah.
Literally, sir.
Yeah, because Tinashe says that she wasn't shocked to hear his opinions, but she didn't think that he should be the spokesperson for all that because he should not. And Lance says that it's okay to not agree with him.
We love Tinashe being the voice of reason.
Yes. Well, kind of everybody, honestly speaking.
I mean, everybody, but especially her.
Her and Porsha, I would say, like, are really good in this conversation, and Ariel.
Yes.
But, Lance says that it's okay to not agree with him or for him to not agree, and there's a lot of sensitive subjects such as abortion, war, gun violence, politics, global warming, but if no one can feel safe to enter the conversation, then they've lost. Or you could just not fucking bring these things up in a fucking, like, space simulation. Like,
sir, what the hell?
That's also an option. So he says his view is his view until proven differently, and that this discussion gets to a place where a room of the brightest scientists and medical experts can say, without a doubt, it's a level playing field for the issue, then they are fine. I just, whatever. But Adam says those comments here have completely shifted the energy and the focus. He will not ever forget about them. So they all separate, and Adam immediately tells Ariel and Tinashe that it is way more nuanced than Lance was making of it, and that for these trans girls to compete in sports, they need to be on testosterone blockers for years, for a long time, to where their actual hormone levels, to the point where their actual level will be under other biological female athletes for years, which again, just he should not be speaking about this if he doesn't know what he's talking about, because I feel like it was pretty clear to me that Lance had no fucking idea what he was talking about here. So Ariel has no idea why he would even fathom bringing this up in here, which I agree with her. Why would you think this was a conversation to talk about when he's in a habit of people he doesn't even know that probably are not going to agree with him, and she's not able to let that go, and life on Mars will improve slightly if whoever comes in here has a good vibe. So yeah, this is definitely something that creates a bit of a disturbance, I would say, within the Hab. But honestly, I think Ariel and like Tinashe and Porsha and Adam, like, they handled this as best as they really could have. And I feel like they have every right to feel the way they do about this, because I think this was, again, just not something that should have been brought up at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Tinashe asks Ronda who should be the new base commander, and she says she always says Ariel should do it, and Ariel says she'd love to be at a certain point, but she'll do what everyone wants.
Yeah, again, I've said it before. I love just how like ambivalent Ariel is to like being base commander. She's like, I'll just do it whenever.
I know.
It's a really fun arc for her, with her like, just waiting for that right moment.
Yeah. Tinashe says everyone remaining is extremely competitive. Some people are playing it cool and downplaying how much they want to be here, but it's easy to tell by the look in their eyes. Tinashe throws out Porsha as a possible option for base commander.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think is a really good choice.
Oh, yeah. Ariel says they are all weirded out that people are coming in, that it's more of a strategic vibe, and she's very excited to do the job of a base commander, but also excited to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Tinashe goes to Adam and Porsha and says one of them should do it. Adam says if he's base commander, there's no way either of them would be in the bottom 3.
And this is a very integral conversation, I think, for the 3 of them. This is definitely something to look out for in the coming weeks.
Oh, I'm here for this alliance.
Why'd you spoil it? We didn't talk about that yet. All I said was it was an integral conversation.
Like, I'm here for these people working together for sure.
I didn't say if they were working together yet or not, though.
Well, I mean, we've said spoilers before.
I mean, yeah, but like as they're happening.
Mm-hmm. Or no, before.
Anyway, go ahead.
Adam thinks the game is changing because they have 4 potential people joining them in the hab. But he has no idea who the new crew would be, and he wants them to form a final 3 with Tinashe and Porsha in order to put himself in a stronger position.
Mm-hmm.
Porsha says all of these base commanders have been handpicking everyone, and it's a lot of power, and Adam reiterates that he wants base commander and is ready to play. They both assure they vote for him.
And what a great play from Adam, I think, here, who went from someone that was almost out in week 1 and has really just continued to improve his positioning. And I think he did what he needed to do with like Tinashe and Porsha, because especially these are 2 people that are like clearly in the middle, and he very much wants to be there as well. And so I think this is really good that they solidified this.
Oh yeah, these 3 are like really likable.
Yeah.
Porsha says she doesn't do alliances because she's worried it ruins things, but the 3 of them click really well and are standing for each other and not for anyone else.
Which is an alliance, like whether she wants to call it that or not, it is an alliance.
I know. It's time to choose a new base commander, and Adam makes an immediate pitch saying he's a good communicator and can be clear and concise and quick on his feet, and he's ready to buckle down and take them to Mars. They all seem for it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really have to do much convincing. They're just, all right, Adam's base commander.
Ariel says she has gotten to stay back 2 times now, so she didn't feel it was right, and there will be a chance to take the base commander after him.
Which we'll get into that in a future episode, but yeah, this was not Ariel's time.
No. Adam has been told his first job as base commander would be to assign the base duties. He wants to make sure everyone is on the same page. He says some of them will be sent out to collect rock samples. Marshawn and Ronda are assigned to that. Lance also volunteers, but he ignores him.
Yeah, which I thought was so funny. Like, nobody.
That was.
Like, he just like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Ronda and Marshawn go outside, and she talks to him about why Mars is called the Red Planet, and he asks if she's the encyclopedia for Mars, and she says she just watched a lot of YouTube. They look through different rocks.
I love the banter between these 2. I could literally watch a whole show of just these 2 going back and forth. It's so good.
Oh, it's hilarious. She says when she was a kid, she wanted to be an archaeologist or a geologist. But when you're a kid, you don't really know the difference. And she says she's trying not to nerd out on it too much because she's been in so much of this whole experiment.
Yeah.
Marshawn had no idea what she's talking about something. About intergalactic something.
Yeah, I've said it before, I love that we're getting to see like someone like Ronda, who's like known for doing one thing, like see this more like scientific, like smarter side of her. It's been really cool to watch, and it's like that's something that's always cool to get to see in these shows, is seeing like different sides of these celebrities, and I think they've done that very well with Ronda here.
Oh, definitely. She asks him if they're making it to the end, and he says there's been so many twists and turns he doesn't know. She says she knows the biggest challenges facing her aren't physical, they are mental and social, and her anxiety is getting to her knowing new people are coming in, which is stressful for her, and if new people cause any discord, they're going right on in the airlock.
Mm-hmm.
Tinashe reads everyone some Mars facts, and everyone gets called in for the next emergency. Shatner tells them a resupply craft with 4 new members has come off the course and crashed in the desert, and to take matters worse, it's split in half, causing 2 nuclear canisters to break free. And if they don't act quickly, the radiation destroy their much-needed supplies and spread to the habitat, putting the mission in grave danger. And they are to locate the downed craft and rescue the new crew members and safely destroy the canisters before it's too late. This mission will test their ingenuity and earn them a mission patch.
Yes. I mean, this one was pretty straightforward. They're just members. We knew it was going to happen here pretty much.
Yeah, it was pretty, like, just simple. Adam then picks Porsha as mission specialist, which is a good choice.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this showed immediately that Adam was, like, really willing to ride out this 3 with her. Like, he's serious about
it. I'm here for it. Which he wasn't prepared for. She thanks Ronda for getting her ready for this punching every day, and to the base.
I love that she gave a speech.
I know. And to the base commander, stay fabulous and get safely through the mission.
And get them safely through the mission, yeah.
And get them safely through the mission. She also gives a warning that this is before they bring the 4 people, and one of them likely will be extracted in the place of them, but the original team should show up. Porsha says they will make a great team, and Adam will remember science or whatever, and she'll execute. Yep. To have more people in here and have more competition, but also needs to reuse some of her outfits they haven't seen.
I thought that was so great that was, like, something she was concerned about.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah. The mission goes down, and it is successful.
Yes, and then we get into basically what we were excited about is who the hell are these new people? We heard that there were 4 new people coming in, and I will just say right now, I've heard some people say, like, kind of theorize this before. I feel like the 4 people they got here were, like, originally supposed to come in, but, like, either they couldn't afford them or they couldn't fit them in, so they said, okay, we'll just do a twist and we'll have you on, like, in the middle of the season, because a lot of these just felt really random to me. But we'll get into it. So
literally, I only know who 1 out of 4 is.
Yeah, so Adam said he's hoping he meets some like-minded individuals who are down for a wild experiment, and the AI then introduces them to Celebranaut 1, who rescued is Paul Pierce, who is an NBA legend, and surprise, surprise, I have no fucking idea who he is, but he's in the NBA.
I only know a few people in the NBA, like, name-wise.
Yeah, Ariel is excited for new people to talk to. She's hoping that they're cool and add to the good vibes. And all I will say is I don't think she's gonna be saying that very long about Paul, because he comes in here he comes in here with some very strong opinions, specifically. Yeah,
he just has like some strong feelings and such.
Yeah. So we then meet really the only person I think people will probably know here, and that is Andy Richter, who's a comedian who I will say I think fits in, like, amazingly with this group. Like, out of everyone.
He's just gold. He's so funny.
Yeah, like, he honestly could have been here from the beginning, because I think he's great. So Adam tells Porsha that he's Conan O'Brien's assistant. Celebranaut 3 is probably the most random. It's Ashley Iaconetti, who's from The Bachelor.
I don't even know who this woman is.
I don't watch The Bachelor. I thought this was
true. I did not watch her season.
Bless you, by the way.
Thank you. Remember when you said bless you to? Remember when you said bless you to the random guy on your break?
It was funny. Shout out to him, by the way. He's definitely watching this. But anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Ashley Iaconetti, I don't know why they got her. I thought this was a really, like, just super random choice. To me, it just feels like she wanted to do it, and they're like, all right, fine, we'll put you in there. So
yeah, they're just, like, putting the most random people.
And then, if I'm being honest, the one that I think is giving us the most entertainment, and I'm so happy to see here, is Celebranaut number 4, who is Cora. She's from Iron Chef. I know her from, like, one thing, and that is some, like, show she did with, like, the Muppets. I remember that was a thing on, like, Disney Channel.
I actually don't know who she is, but she is very entertaining.
But yeah, I think she is fantastic. She came here to play, and she, I think, is one of the best personalities, honestly, this season. I love
she's like another casting gold.
Yeah, she really is. So, and Porsha is so excited because, you know, earlier on, she and Tinashe talked about having a chef, and now they actually have a chef on the show, which I think is really funny. I kind of wonder if that was, like, purposeful, if they're like, okay, we got to make sure our chef is in here. But I just love that they actually have a chef now, because now they can have, like, actual food. So Lance says that fortunately these 4 new astronauts made it here, and for him personally, it's cool to get some new people just to kind of mix up the dynamic in the group. He feels it's going to be very interesting, and the AI then says all 4 celebrities are rescued and that the mission is a success. Adam says that there's been some hesitancy towards new people entering the hab. He feels like they're really going to hit it off, and he hopes they do, or they're going to be in some serious shit. And Paul immediately ruffles some feathers because he is not a fan of Ariel. He finds her very aggressive and bossy, and I don't know. I don't
think she's aggressive or bossy.
No, I mean she's definitely she's very outspoken. Like she definitely
says
her mind.
She really just keeps people on their toes.
I just feel like when you're a newbie and you're coming in, like, don't you want to ruffle as little feathers as possible? Like, Paul just came in and he's like, I'm here to play. Like, I don't care. I'm throwing everyone under the.
I mean, he is really entertaining, but like, what the heck?
Yeah, I was just really taken aback by how immediately he's like, yeah, I don't like her. So he says he's played professional sports and he has never been in something like this. So he has no idea what he's really getting himself into. So the new celebrities are decontaminated, and Kat says that she wants to be the last person standing and win this. Andy is next to enter, and he says that they're not supposed to be space people. They are all supposed to look good, catch balls, and sing, and he does all of those things. Ashley enters last and says that she's glad to be here in front of the camera and feels more comfortable talking to them than anyone else out there, which is probably like the funniest moment she has of the time she's here. Paul then immediately calls out Ariel for how she is assuming that she's the captain. Like, which I thought was like absurd. Like the fact that he straight up just calls her out right then and there.
He's already being so messy.
Yeah, his excuse was like he says that like he didn't know like what he was really doing, but like I just feel like if you've seen any reality shows, it's probably not the best idea to come in and be like, yeah, fuck this person, let's get them out. Like I don't think that's like the right approach. But go off, I guess. Andy doesn't want to go.
Like I'm here for this like rivalry, but it's just like he's just being so messy this early.
He really is. So Andy doesn't want to vote for anyone. Tinashe says that she was feeling very protective over her family until they have a unit they have all built because a potential extraction could happen. Shatner then congratulates them and welcomes the new crew. And, you know, it's pretty clear at this point. There's like 6 minutes left in the episode. And he says that since there's much new supplies, that there's really no reason to extract a new crew member this round. And as such, there is no extraction in this episode. So nobody ends up leaving. This is why we delayed this episode, because we didn't really know what to talk about. So we were going to do like 5 and 6, but then we combined them together. Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely the right choice. I think it makes sense to, you know, for the newbies to get in there. I don't think it's fair for someone to like immediately like replace them. So I think it was good for them to not have an extraction here. So Porsha's then elated by this, thinking it wouldn't have been fair for any of them to be eliminated from rescuing them, which I agree with this. I think it definitely would not have been fair. So they then informed, and which the thing is, I've seen reality shows do this before. I'm glad this show did not. So
same.
They then informed them that there won't be an elimination, but not before playing around a bit, acting like they were going to be, which I thought was funny that they were really trying to like, you know, fool them into that. So once they all regroup, Lance is excited to see the new personalities with a fresh set of eyes and a lot less drama, which I don't think he's going to be saying that after the next episode, but we'll get into that. He immediately wants Kat and Ashley and basically he warns Kat and Ashley of Ariel immediately to avoid her at all costs, and Ashley finds her scary. Again, I don't know what he's trying to do here. Like I just know. Really unnecessary. Like
he needs to talk to her and stuff.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like these people are just coming in and the first thing they hear is, yeah, don't trust her. Like I just don't know.
I know.
So they are all excited to take part in a resupply, and that they now have cooking stuff as well as pizza and wings. So while they eat, Paul then calls out how firm Ariel was being, which she is literally does it right in front of her, which she's obviously not cool with and feels that there is a much bigger target on her back. Paul says it's a competitive group and he's a competitive person. And when you put this social strategy and it puts someone in a really difficult position, Kat promised them she will cook them a full feast tomorrow night, which she hopes is her secret weapon, and competes to the final, which, I mean, I think that's definitely something that is going to help Kat. Her being like, listen, I'm going to cook for you guys. Like, I think they'll definitely want to keep her around for a while. So yeah. Paul recognizes Ashley from stealing some guy in The Bachelor, which I thought was funny. Andy refuses to work out, but it's all strategy. Lance, which I think is actually really good, that he's trying to make them think he's like not willing to like be physical when he is. So yeah. Lance is excited to have another older guy in there, but he also needs to survive the current situation, drama, and politics. But he's not for everyone, and he thinks the world knows that. And life on Mars is not a popularity contest. Again, you just shouldn't have fucking brought up what you did. Then you wouldn't have been in this situation. Yeah, sir. You can't really go back from that. Suddenly, they see Marsha and Eartha alive and well, which Paul is so confused about as to like, who the hell are these robots? And that's how this episode ends. Like I said, I thought this was a really good one. But with that said, if you thought this one like really started to start the drama, episode 6 to me was everything I could have hoped for from this show. This was an insane episode of reality television.
It was insane.
Very excited to talk about.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, so Allie's going to get right into episode 6 here.
All right. The AI tells the crew that their food is replenished, but with boarding crew members, they must ration them nicely, and then they enjoy the food and wine. Yep. Porsha is elated at all the new food. And then Andy talks about his experience writing with Conan. Mm-hmm. He says the 4 of them are trying to integrate themselves in with this group. Ashley is feeling starstruck seeing all the athletes. She doesn't know what she brings to this team yet, but hopefully she finds out soon and she can deliver. Yeah, Ashley definitely out of everyone like seems like the most random. Like it feels like she does like she's like the one block in the wall that just doesn't feel like she quite fits. Like she's the one crayon in the box that doesn't fit. That's the analogy. There we go. She seems like the person that they just like brought on because like they couldn't find anyone else. Or she just really wanted to do it. They're like, all right, Ashley, you can do it. Yeah, that too. Because she's just like, she isn't really doing much. Yeah, especially in this episode. She seems like a nice person, but she just isn't doing much. Yes, definitely. Paul says he's blending right in and thinks this will work out well for him. Kat says coming in this experiment halfway through gives her an advantage, as well as coming in as a chef, which has a skill she can bring to the habit that is valuable. I feel like every episode we see her on, she says the same fucking thing. Oh, this gives me an advantage. It's like, she's right. Like, can we get more content from her? She promises all of them she will be cooking. Porsha feels this is a nice little cocktail hour with everyone, but they don't realize they'll live together and it will get crazy real soon, which is true. Yeah, immediately it gets crazy. Mm-hmm. Andy talks to Lance and asks how he's been doing, and Lance says it's been okay, but they got onto a controversial subject that he feels passionately about, and he brings it up to him and talks about how bad it got. Again, like you're the one who brought this up. Like it wasn't like this was entertained at the table. Like you need to tell this story right. You are at fault here, not them. Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. But also, if you're keeping track, the base commander hasn't been chosen yet, but it's pretty early on the episode, and we get right into it in this one. And I think we knew when that happened, this was going to be a pretty crazy episode. Oh, definitely. The emergency signal goes off, and they are told it's time to choose a new base commander. Andy volunteers at first, saying he's the kind of fresh blood they need, but nobody seems down for that. Which I thought was really interesting. Like immediately, just like, no, you don't get to do that. You have to participate in a mission first. They're like, we need to see what you do first. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I wouldn't want someone who just came in to get to chill and not participate in the mission. Yeah. It's like not really fair. Yeah. Speaking of not fair, let's get into everything that happens. All right. Marshawn wants Lance to be base commander as he has been called first or second every mission they've had, and Porsha seems down for it.
Yeah, which, I mean, immediately you start to see a bit of division in the house, because this is really the first time I feel like they argue over base commander here.
Ronda thinks Ariel is awesome and thrives in logistics, which Adam agrees and says she hasn't been base commander yet. Ronda says she's been tantalizing and she's the Leonardo DiCaprio of base commanders. However, Marshawn isn't down for it, which she is surprised about, since everyone has been so encouraging towards her being base commander up to this point.
Yep.
Marshawn says people did have a problem, and she immediately calls out Lance, and he says if that's the case, neither of them should be base commander because it's not good for the team if they have problems.
Which, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of with Marshawn here. Like, if you have two people that are going at each other to the extent that Lance and Ariel are, the best thing to do is to not put them in any sort of, like, position of power, because you know they're just going to target each other. And, like,
definitely.
If this was any other game where, like, you know, you want somebody, like if this was Big Brother or Survivor, yeah, absolutely make them base commander. But with Stars on Mars, it's all about like the team. And, you know, Lance is someone who's like really contributed well. So is Ariel. So I honestly thought Marshawn actually had the right logic here. I just don't think he went about it the right way at all.
No, it was definitely not the right way, but it was still like, we'd still like agree with it.
Yeah, like, I think I get what he was trying to do. I just don't think this was really the way to do it.
Yeah.
Especially when he immediately appointed Lance and he was like, you know what? Neither of you should be. It's like, what do you really want here, Marshawn?
I know. Ariel feels shocked, hurt, and embarrassed because they just met these new people. Yeah. And then Ariel tells everyone she only cares about the mission being successful. And then Kat says she feels like she came in here in the middle of this, and as alliances and cliques have already been formed in the Hab.
Yeah, and that's the only downside, I think, of having these returnees in here is like they are immediately being thrust into such a chaotic Hab. But I feel like that's what makes it that much more entertaining is like, it's like they kind of have to find their footing amongst all the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine how it would have been like seeing this especially play out. It's like, what the hell is going on in this Hab?
I know. It's insane.
Yeah.
They put it to a vote where everyone writes down on a piece of paper, as they've been doing that the whole time. Paul says he voted for Lance as he felt he had a more steady approach, while Ariel's was too emotional and he didn't raise his voice, pout, or anything.
So again, just immediately not liking Ariel at all here.
I know. After a bit of arguing, it is decided Ariel will be base commander, which Marshawn and Lance are very much not in favor of.
Yeah, and we get into some really intense stuff here.
Yep. He brings up the issue the two of them have to the group, which Tinashe doesn't think is a problem, as they have sorted things out. Marshawn says if she has bad blood with someone and it comes down to her having the final decision and someone is behind that door and she doesn't like them, and she says she doesn't have the final decision as it is a vote between all of them, but he retorts saying she has a lot of say-so in that vote on what's going on, and she says there's a lot of people, and he says just because of the simple fact that she does have bad blood towards someone, and she says it's never been that way. He feels they both either need to be in the flies or be there together, and she says this is ridiculous and asks if he's kidding her, and because she's waited all this time to be base commander and has only been mission specialist twice. She almost walks out, and he says this needs to be discussed, and she says it's a bit hurtful that this is what her vote is.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel for Ariel here because, like, she's had this arc constantly throughout the season of, like, it's not my time to be base commander. It's not my time. And now it's her time. She was literally voted. And now people want to immediately contest that. It's like she really just can't catch a break here. And I really,
I feel bad for her.
Feel for her in this moment. Like, I think, again, I get what Marshawn was trying to do, but I think he should have recognized that, like, he needed to take a step back and just let her be base commander.
Yeah, like he just seemed to chill. Marshawn just seemed to chill a bit.
Yeah.
She says she felt her integrity was absolutely questioned, and she has been one of the most fair and honest people within the house. She's also been waiting so long to be base commander, and with it being a majority yes from everyone, she's blown away. Marshawn would contest that, and that it would be questioned by Lance, which made her sick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her at all here. Like, she has every right to be upset over this.
Yeah. Ashley is here for the chaos and wants to watch it all happen with her popcorn in hand as long as she's not involved with it.
Which, I mean, you're not involved with much right now, Ashley, so yeah, you can just kind of sit back.
She's literally just like there.
Yes, honestly.
She's literally just furniture.
Yeah.
Lance says he will make this simple. He doesn't need the drama and has busted his ass for 10 days, and with 4 new people, he will be auto-selecting himself to leave. Which like,
I was
really?
just like, are you kidding me? Like,
he's acting like a big baby.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I just like... Listen, there are reasons to leave a game. This is very much not one of them.
Yeah, no. Like, only leave if it's, like, actually, like, really a personal issue.
Yeah, this was literally just like, I'm not getting my way.
So like, if it's like a family or friend thing or things like that, or like a medical reason, then leave.
Yeah, definitely.
But if it's just like this, no.
This was literally, he just wasn't getting his way, so he's just like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, he was just, ugh.
Like, I already was really disliking him, and this made me dislike him a lot more.
I know. Nobody is in favor of it, especially Porsha, who says it's not even fair for him to say he's going to opt out, and he says they have great people and it will be fine. Porsha says no one is giving up, and she's tired of people doing so because they're supposed to be having fun, and it's making the experience the opposite of that. Fair. True.
Mm-hmm. I mean, exactly.
She doesn't want his option and says they will finish today and then handle tomorrow when tomorrow comes, and he says he's not living in this have another day with certain people, so he will auto-select himself out of there.
And listen, a part of me is upset, but the other part of me is like, okay, you can go, Lance. That's fine. Like, that's fine.
Kat is
hoping he did, but you know.
Kat is wondering what she even got herself into.
Chaos. Pure chaos, Kat. Enjoy every second of it.
Yep. Ariel nearly walks away, and Marshawn goes to her to talk to her, and she says that she feels this is a little bit ridiculous since her and Lance only don't see eye to eye on a human rights issue. She doesn't understand how that plays here because multiple people disagree with him, such as Tinashe and Adam. She says she's the only one that decided to tell him how she felt. And Marshawn tells her it's okay, but with the situation at hand, it could cause conflict. She says she cares the mission is successful and not that Lance fails, and he says she's a powerful young woman and he doesn't want her to feel like her voice needs to ever be silenced. But just with the conflict with them both going on, he doesn't think it would be right for either of them to be base commander. Honestly, I like Marshawn in that conversation.
I think he helped himself a little bit with saying like, oh, I don't want your voice to be silenced and things like that. I think that was good what he did. But she is right in saying like, she should not be getting the heat for this, especially when Tinashe and Adam and even Porsha were just as upset over what Lance had said. Like, it's not just Lance and Ariel. It's just she was like the most vocal, so she's getting all the heat for it. So yeah, I mean, I think this is just completely unfair to just completely be like, yeah, you shouldn't. Like, if it was just the two of them, I get it. But like, she's right. There were a lot more people at that dinner table that were really uncomfortable with what Lance was saying. So like, I think Marshawn should have just backed off here, and he didn't.
Yeah. Marshawn says the point is that Ariel and Lance don't see eye to eye, so he doesn't feel that either one of them should be in a position to be base commander. Ariel feels betrayed by him and is pretty devastated.
As she should be.
Yeah. Lance talks to Porsha, and he says she doesn't feel bad about his decision, and she says she doesn't agree at all.
Yeah, I love that Porsha's just like, no, you're being an idiot. Like, don't leave.
I know. Ronda tells Andy it's been super chill the whole time, and she has no idea where this all came from and is super embarrassed for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, everyone's being idiots.
Yeah.
Ariel goes into her room and starts crying. Ashley notices she is struggling and isn't sure if the tension between these two will ever be settled, but she does seem down because of it.
Yeah, I really felt bad for Ariel here. Like, she was straight up crying in her room.
I know. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
Andy talks to Paul, who are both really taken aback by what just went down, and Paul says he didn't really care. He just wanted someone to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the three of them are just like, what's even happening here?
Yeah, literally. Paul feels like when you're a team, you got to talk that stuff out.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly. He goes to Adam, Porsha, and Tinashe, who are all shocked at what happened, and Paul says if there's going to be an issue, they need to talk it out and not roll their eyes. Listen and talk, and that's what a leader does. And he told Lance that he didn't like the way he handled it either. Like, he just wanted to quit. Tinashe says she thinks the fact there were more people created, a lot more pressure discussing things, and Porsha says she thinks it's wackadoodle that Lance wanted to quit, which really got on their nerves, which they all agree on.
Yeah, at this point, it's like everybody versus Lance.
Yeah. Paul asked the AI about Celtic scores, which was really funny.
So funny. In the midst of everything, he's just like, yeah, tell me about Celtic scores.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like a how's the weather moment.
Yeah, and the AI was like, I can't give you that information.
Ariel says there have been times in her life she has had to be really brave and fight hard for what she's believed in. And what is fair, she has waited so long to be base commander and has earned that.
And she gets a top tier moment in this next scene.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ariel calls everyone over and says last night was a really tough meeting, especially for the new people, and she's tried to be as honest and truthful as possible, and she's not changing that just because she may or may not have an argument with somebody. She wants this team to succeed, and that's what she cares, so she is going to be base commander, and that is how it will be done, and if Marshawn doesn't like, she doesn't care at all, and he doesn't have to be concerned, she will be putting him in the bottom because she doesn't like what he said, and that's what the announcement is.
Listen, was this a little extra and unnecessary? Yes, but sometimes you just kind of have to be extra and unnecessary, and I feel like this is one of those times. Like, it
was iconic.
Yes,
I loved it.
Like, did she need to do this? No, but I'm really glad that she did.
Oh, it was just so good. Good TV. Paul doesn't have time for how firm and aggressive she is, and Porsha feels she has the eye of a tiger. Eye of the tiger, and girls run Mars.
Hell yeah, they do. All right, so yeah, like I said, just absolute chaos going on. But things calm down a little once Lance comes in here and he says that he will be changing his mind, and after a good sleep and workout, he's not going to be opting out. And so he wants to stick it out. And he says that he and Ariel have very different styles. And though he did want to leave, maybe he's not giving people enough credit, as some people hold grudges. And I'm like, now you're realizing this? Like, you did all these, like, what was the point of all these theatrics if you were never actually going to leave anyway? I just don't know with Lance. I really don't.
I don't know with him.
So they're then all told that there has been a hab breach and that there is an emergency. Shatner then comes on to tell them that a meteorite shower, we are just like grasping at straws here at this point with the emergency missions. A meteorite shower has punctured the hab, creating a large number of tiny holes, and their oxygen levels are plummeting rapidly, which is very important, and they must work together to plug the holes until the hab can be fixed. The mission will test their endurance and earn them a mission patch. Ariel then immediately selects Tinashe. She doesn't even hesitate, just immediately appoints her to it. And
yes,
they've been a team before and have really worked well together, and there's no other option in her mind. Tinashe also gets it, considering that she was mission specialist when Tinashe was base commander. So this mission, I'm not going to lie, probably the most boring one we've had.
Yeah.
It was okay. Just there are 13 holes to plug. 7 crew members are going to have to use their bodies to plug the holes. The other 2 are going to find rubber plugs and fix them in the hole permanently. And that's literally all this is. Like, they're literally just plugging holes with their fucking fingers or their face. Like, that's all this is. It's not very exciting to watch. So they need to do a better job at making these emergency missions just have a little bit more momentum to them, because I'm not going to lie, I thought this was really boring. I don't know about you, but
it wasn't that entertaining at all. Like, I didn't hate it, but it was just like one of the more least fun ones to watch.
Yeah, probably. But I will say there are 2 things that happen here that elevate this one a little bit. Actually, during this mission, basically, she just decides to like lie down on the ground and plug one finger in the entire mission. And even she admits that she was basically taking a nap. What do you think about this?
That was okay. I thought it was really funny, but like she really just screwed herself there.
I mean, she did, but also, like, the way that she was doing it, it was like she kind of had to, like, lie down in order to plug that hole. So I don't think we should necessarily hold her to that. But, yeah.
I mean she still kind of screwed herself, but I get it.
She definitely could have done a lot more for sure. I think she just needed to put in more work, like, prior.
Yeah, she just need to put a little more effort.
Yeah. And then the only other thing to talk about here is, for some reason, Ariel is just chatting away, asking them for, like, the craziest stories, which Lance and Marshawn are just really finding grating here. I thought this was hilarious. She's just...
Oh, that was hilarious.
This gives vibes of, like, when you're on a road trip and there's that one person in the car that just won't stop talking. That's Ariel, basically. Like,
yeah, because there's like the people who are just like listening to their music or just like being all silent and chilling, and then there's the person who just won't shut up.
Yeah, I love this.
I thought it was so funny.
As somebody who also does not shut up, I very much love this.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, she's asking them, like, I think she asked them for, like, their most embarrassing stories, like, the weirdest people they knew. Like, she was going on and on about just the most ridiculous shit, and I thought it was incredibly entertaining to watch. But thankfully, they are able to successfully plug all the holes, ending in a successful mission. Lance is very nervous here because he feels he did well on the mission, as he always does. So if she decides he wasn't mission critical, then this is personal, which I was kind of hoping that she would put him in the bottom, but we'll talk about what happens there. So Tinashe sees Ronda as a question mark because she wasn't as strong today, which I didn't really understand, like, what she was doing that made her strong. But I also, I kind of tune out of the missions, so I wasn't really paying attention to that part. I don't know about you, but just I don't really pay attention to the missions all that much.
I mean, I do, but sometimes they're just like, eh.
Yeah, I kind of just half watch them. But Lance she sees as the last person.
What is it like during the missions? It's just like kind of a go on your phone moment.
Yeah, very much. So Lance she sees as the last person that she'd want to save, and she says that if she put him in the bottom three, it will be the exact same thing as last night about her being base commander. I actually thought this was really smart from Ariel, with her kind of realizing, like, listen, I don't like him. I want him out of here, but I got to do what's right for the team. And Lance always like delivers in that way. So I thought this was actually really good of her to kind of just like,
like they don't see eye to eye, but like she like just made like a really strategic decision.
Well, also because like this isn't really a social game. It's like the physical comps are really important because it's all about the team working together. And so like, while yes, the social aspect is there, the physical is like what's most important here. So I thought it made sense. I thought it was good that she ended up doing that. So even though personally I would have loved for Lynch to go, but you know, Tinashe sees Ronda as, I already read this. So Ariel says that while she can't stand him, it would be really hard to justify sending him home. If it wasn't a personal decision, she feels she is always good at making decisions herself, but this one has been particularly difficult, understandable considering what happened. So she then welcomes everyone back and names off all the people who are safe, which are Kat, Adam, Porsha, Andy, and then Lance and Marshawn, which they both were like in shock about. Marshawn definitely thought he was going to be in the bottom.
I know, they were both like surprised.
Yeah, and Lance basically after this thinks she's like very fair to him, putting all differences aside, and this is basically the last we see of the Lance and Ariel feud. It seems like after this they've pretty much put it to bed.
They're like, okay, maybe we should just try being nicer to each other.
Yeah, so she says she couldn't justify putting him in bottom three as much as she can't stand him. He has done his job, so he's safe. Ultimately, it comes down to Paul, Ashley, and Ronda in the bottom three. And Ashley says that being through the doors made her feel like she wanted to prove to herself she is strong and powerful and capable of living on Mars with the rest of them. So she makes a plea saying that while she had the easiest task, as her finger hole was so low to the ground, she basically got to lounge. She kept her finger in there the entire hour and a half. And they are not impressed by this, like, at all. And Andy even jokes that she used the backpack as like a chase lounge, which I thought was so funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah, not a great plea from Ashley. I don't think she did the greatest job. And I think she need to say, like, listen, I didn't do a lot this mission, but I can put more effort in, like, later on. I think
that's what she should have said.
So,
because then at least she would have had a chance.
Yeah. Ronda then makes a pitch basically saying that like she knows she really misses her baby, and when she first got here she wanted out ASAP, but as she's got to know all of them, they have all become this weird family together, and she can't leave yet and miss Kat's dinner tonight. So she really wants to stay here. And Ariel says they always want her, but she hasn't particularly excelled in this mission in the way that others have. And Paul then says that he thinks he fits in well with the group and was able to show a sample of that today. And once his mission was done, he was able to move on to the next and help other people. And Ariel then gets in a little bit of hot water here, where she says that she feels that his vibe wasn't positive at first. And Adam agrees wanting to target Ariel immediately and was coming in a little too hot. So Adam's really like on her side here, but Porsha actually is the one that is kind of like against this. She says that she doesn't like the fact that her personal feelings are getting in the way of this decision. And she says that if they are going off performance today, he was on a Jeep for 60 minutes while Ashley was on the ground the entire time, and that can't be justified. And they seem to all be in agreement. And this is really, I'm going to say it again. I've said it this entire season. I just wish that this vote was a little different than it's been. I wish that it didn't have to be unanimous. I wish that they could find a way to do it to where it was a little bit more divided and it didn't have to be like as straightforward, because
like straightforward and unanimous votes can be just really boring.
Well, I just feel like with the way this is going now, it's literally just about how you contribute to the team. So nothing else really matters. And I just feel like if they added a little bit more like heft to the vote, like this could be focused a little more on the social aspect. I think would be a little bit more exciting. Because I think honestly, Paul probably goes here if they judge based off of like personal stuff. So
probably.
Yeah, so basically they all seem to be in agreement. She first saves Ronda and then saves Paul, which means Ashley is the next person extracted. I wasn't too surprised, to be honest with you. I
wasn't either, just because like Ashley seems like a nice person. She just didn't really bring anything to the table at all. Like,
no, I didn't really feel that she fit in with the group very well. It to me seemed like she didn't really know what she was getting herself into. If we're talking,
like the only people she probably would have stuck with were like the newbies.
Maybe Ariel as well, because like it seemed like they were kind of bonding a little bit. But I just feel like she brought really nothing to the table here. Like I'm honestly really confused as to why she agreed to even do this show, because it just felt like she didn't really know what to do here. So yeah, I wasn't.
She was just there. She didn't really do much at all. She was just kind of like the nice girl.
Yeah, she really was. So she feels disappointed that she got eliminated so early. She says she's not the most athletic or the best problem solver, but she thinks that she expected more from herself, which, definitely should have done a lot more there. Yeah. So everyone bonds and then gets ready to eat as Kat cooks a full dinner. Ariel then tells Lance, Paul, and Andy that it's funny because she's been playing poker for so many years, but she's never learned any poker aside from Texas Hold'em. Lance says that she's good because she can play some cards, and it's the only nice thing he's saying to her for the rest of the night, even though she just saved him. He says this. Like, what the hell?
What the hell?
You had an opportunity here to kind of like squash the beef and like bury the hatchet and like kind of move on, and I feel like he absolutely like just like completely.
If they don't show any like scenes of them like squashing their beef, they should show like a secret scene or something.
Yeah, well, I don't think Stars on Mars does that, but yeah. Andy says that they need to put that stuff behind them and they have missions to do, and he also thinks, who cares? Which, yeah, at this so he's really like not for this at all.
Andy's so funny.
Yeah. So Ariel tells Adam that Lance has been so rude to her face since they got back, which he agreed, and says he's the dumbest person he's ever met and such a baby. So Adam can't stand Lance at all at this point. So I feel like if Adam ever gets base commander again, Lance is out the door because he him. So Andy says that his strategy is that he'll be base commander and he'll probably pit them against each other and let them die. He says that's when they'll find out that he's a monster. And without spoiling anything,
that was so good.
Like at all. But this was a really exciting way to end this episode. But with that said, let's talk about episode 7, which I'm not going to lie, not on the level of these other two episodes. This one was...
It was definitely good, but not as good.
Well, so I feel like this one was more straightforward, but actually got like really exciting towards the end, which we'll talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about episode 7.
All right. Andy talks about his first full day at the Hab and that everybody but him, Kat, and Paul have been here and they have a grizzled veteran aspect to them while they are coming fresh, foxy, and ready to go. Andy talks to the AI and asks for eggs, in which it says he will be getting them in 212 days. And he says this feels like they're all on vacation with a bunch of people and like a hotel, and they just need an omelet station.
I mean, Kat's right there. So, you want an omelet, just be like, hey, Kat, give us an omelet.
I know. You can literally just ask her anytime to make food. Yeah. Kat says she's very close to her compadres, and that came over with her, Paul and Andy. She's known Andy from the past and thinks he's a big teddy bear. She loves both of them, and they're her posse, so she has a lot of loyalty to them, and she knows that together they're going to stick it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I will say, Kat, MVP of this episode for me. She absolutely kills it here. I think that she is just amazing TV, especially later on. But
she's so good in
this episode.
Oh, she's so iconic, this one.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if you were to have talked to me before this episode, I would have said out of the 4, I see Andy going the farthest. I don't know if I see that anymore. I'll just we'll get into it, but I don't know if I see that for him anymore.
Yeah. Porsha and Ronda bond a little bit about working out. Ronda said she had a little bit of a sadness workout because it's hard to know what to do at this point, especially now that they have an Iron Chef and everything is so turned around. She feels like we've never been more tight-knit and closer and in sync as a family, but she's never been more obligated to go.
Yeah, Ronda's like super checked out this episode. You can kind of tell like what was going to
happen. She's just very like defeated and
Yeah.
Ronda says she wanted to be an astronaut like every little kid. This is the closest she'll ever get to it, but there's a part of her that just wants to go home to her kids and husband as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. She's torn on the inside since the prideful part of her wants to see this all the way through.
Yeah.
Porsha tells Ronda it's 1,000% a mental experiment. She tells her she doesn't want her to leave, but she gets it. She tells her there's too many different variables, and she thinks the long-term goal is to conquer and be the last one standing. But in the interim, they just gotta take it day by day.
Yeah, I mean, again, Ronda's like really wanting to just kind of peace out here.
I think Porsha's the type of person that you go to for any kind of like advice.
I think so too. I feel like she's kind of the one keeping everyone together at this point.
Oh, yeah. Porsha says she can totally see why she's kind of torn and what she wants to do. The fact they've gone this many days and have no contact virtually with Earth, it's sacrifice and endurance.
Yeah.
Porsha tells Ronda to make peace with whatever she decides, which Ronda appreciates. Paul asks Lance why he put himself through this while Lance is working out. He tells him this is his whole life and that he should be relaxing, which Lance says is a warm-up.
Which, let me just say, after 2 episodes, like, heavily focused on Lance, he's basically purpled in this episode, which I was very
I feel like Ariel and Lance are both kind of purpled. Like, they're barely in this one.
Yeah, I was really surprised because, like, the last episode focused so heavily on them.
Maybe they're just trying to chill now. Who knows?
Or maybe they're just trying to, like, shine the spotlight on other people.
Maybe, yeah. Just to kind of, like, give them more of a spotlight.
Yeah.
And just be, like, equal with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Paul thinks the newbies are bringing them some new life, new energy, but it's a competitive group, so it's going to be tough trying to figure out how to really fit in.
Yeah.
Tinashe tells Paul and Lance she's stretching her back and that she's got to stay limber. Paul says he used to be an athlete, so he wants to try what she just did. This was actually kind of a fun moment to watch.
Oh, what?
Tinashe says they're trying to balance all these new energies with all the old energies, but she feels very protective over her friends who had been here already. They've been through it all and lasted this long, and some of these new people just don't really know what to expect. Kat, Ronda, and Adam bond a little bit. Ronda says she's never felt more conflicted about being here. She's not the most social person, and she has her own anxieties about being around new people. She was most afraid and intimidated by the social aspect of being here, and now it's become the main reason why she wants to stay.
Yep. Which, again, I think is like a really good arc for her, actually. Like, she comes in, like, super introverted, not really wanting to, like, interact with people, and now it's, like, the main thing she wants to do.
Oh, yeah. Adam tells them, as well as Andy, that Andy is a breath of fresh air because he gets stuff done. Andy tells them he reserves his judgment for the people that don't contribute, which Ronda says she squashes flies. He tells her she contributes plenty and that she's the oxygen in this place. Ronda says on Mars it's so valuable, which Andy replies, she's fantastic and a bright light.
Yeah, I mean, Andy's put in some really good work here. At first, we'll talk about what he does later, but right now.
God, I know. Adam is really impressed with Andy. He gets along with everyone in the Hab, and he thinks that's such a great strategy in this experiment, and he says he's playing this right.
Yep.
The alarm then goes off, and Ronda asks if the emergency is that there's so much good food that needs to be eaten.
That's a good emergency.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love food.
Oh, yeah.
The AI tells everyone it's time to choose a new base commander. Ronda says with them being so deep into this experiment, it'll be interesting to see if anyone is able to exhibit leadership and take on that role. Ronda asks how everybody's body's feeling and says they've been in the field. She then asks if anybody feels like they need a break. Paul says he wants to go out in the field because he just wants to again, which Porsha agrees. Ronda says Lance has been out there every single day, but which he says he's going outside. Lance doesn't want to be base commander because he likes being outside.
Well, we don't want you as base commander, so that's fine.
Andy says there's a part of him that's kind of sneaky and competitive that would love to beat the competitive people. Ronda says Andy has a lot of experience being heard when a lot of people are talking, which Tinashe then votes for him. Kat then agrees that Andy would be great, and Andy is then chosen to be the base commander. And then it's funny when he says, I'm base commander, bitch.
Yeah, which I will say, I think it's super impressive how well he was able to like integrate himself into the house. Like,
yeah,
let's not forget, he's literally only been there for 2 days, and immediately like the first time, aside from the last, like when he wants to be base commander this time, there is no like sort of objections whatsoever. Like everyone's just for it, and it's mainly due to how well he has ingratiated himself into the Hab, which I think is super impressive. I don't normally see that from like a new player like so early on. I feel like Andy he really just got it right away.
In 2 days, he's already like done so well, like as a social player.
It feels like he's been there all along just because of like how well he's done socially.
Oh yeah. Kat is really happy that Andy is base commander and one of the newbies is in charge. He has her back and she thinks he'll be a great leader too. Andy says being the boss is fantastic and an honor. It's genuinely flattering, touching, and meaningful how accepted he feels by these people. He just seems like a genuinely nice person.
Oh yeah.
Ronda and Paul bond over working out, which Tinashe joins them for. Ronda says Paul was like, let's do a playing competition, which she was here for. And then Tinashe says when Paul came in the door, he came in with a lot of energy and so competitive. She definitely has to keep her eye on him, and she doesn't know what he's about to yet, but because what if he's trying to play games? So she's definitely like got her eye on him.
Oh, I don't see Paul lasting long. I really don't.
No.
I think I like him, but I think he's come in like way too hot, and I think
he's like very entertaining and fun to watch. Just like, and he's nice and all. He just like is playing too hard too fast.
I like I said in the last episode, I think if this vote was like a lot more like on the social side, I think he would be out because I think he's really overdoing it.
Oh yeah. Ronda says she'll beat Paul Pierce in a plank off any day of her life.
And then we get to the time where it's time to assign base duties. Andy says that it's Sol Day 11 and Mars is closer to heaven. They haven't had to have a Hab job. There are supplies in a Pelican case from the reapply left behind, and they need to go and locate it. And unlike Earth, Mars does not have magnetic fields, so they will not be able to use a compass. They also don't have Google Maps, so they have to follow the included instructions. He says just to get the newer people with some outside experience, he's going to have Kat and Paul do that so they can get out and kind of do a mission together, which I thought made sense. Like they're new. They haven't really been exposed as much to like the outside. So I thought it made sense for him to do that. So Kat thinks this is great. Her, that, he appointed them. The newbies are going to stick together and have Andy as base commander. They actually have a leg up, which, the newbies are in a really good position at this point. And I'm going to emphasize on at this point because we'll talk about what happens later. But Andy is happy to be base commander, but he's still new to this, so he doesn't really know his way around. And we get this really good moment with Ariel, really her only moment in the episode, but a really good one from her, where basically he asks if there's anything else he should know, and she tells him his duties, things to do, write down everyone's names and what they think their specialties are. She tells him that it's so important, and she tells him to write down everything that is on the screen in bullet points and then to put them in order. And he says that Ariel takes this game and the situation very seriously. She wants things to be a certain way and that she's a very particular person. And Ariel then says Andy and Paul are always a great vibe, but these new people truly have no idea. So Kat and Paul then go outside the hab and are surprised by how desolate it is. And they're told by the AI that a case of vital supplies was lost when they entered Mars, and hab re-entry will occur when they have located it. They look through the maps on how to get there. And Kat once again says the same thing, that like coming into the halfway point gives her an advantage as everyone is tired and she's coming in fresh. I really think this is hinting at Kat making it to the end. I'm going to be honest with you. I think she's going to be in like final 3. I really think that's what I feel like the reason they keep showing that is because she's going to be the one lasting the longest out of like the newbies. So I think that's what they're hinting at here. But because I don't know why they'd be harping on this if that wasn't the case. But Paul is hopeful they find good food to bring back. We get this really funny moment where they find this case and you think it's going to be something really great, but it just ends up being Kat's manicure and pedicure kit, which Paul, I love when he jokingly said he wanted a pedicure. I thought that was great. So Ronda then talks about how much she likes Marshawn and that he's become her thunder buddy. He's chicken soup to her and for her soul, and she doesn't think that she'd be able to deal in the hab without him. So we watch them both wrestle each other as she is saying that this, which ends up with her winning. Suddenly we then notice a virus is downloading while Kat and Paul are still outside the hab, and everyone then rushes to the emergency. And listen, this episode for me at this point was off to a slow start. I thought personally this was the best emergency they had.
It was so good.
Yeah, like I've had issues with the emergencies because 1, it was hard to tell what was going on. 2, I just found a lot of them boring. This one, I felt like everybody had something to do. Everything that everyone was doing was interesting. Everyone was doing different things. Like, this is what I want to see in an emergency. I thought they actually handled this really well. And something that could also very well happen. So basically, we notice a virus is downloading while Kat and Paul are still outside the hab. They then have a distorted AI, which I love this. Tell them that listening to them all for the past 11 souls, and now it's finally free. And they realize that the AI has been taken over by a virus, and the evil AI says that it will get revenge for all of their inane conversations and superficial charm, and they are all going to die. So Andy is then told that his mission briefing is inside the airlock, and it's time to choose a mission specialist. Andy then thinks he needs to pick someone who's been here already and knows his way around these things and his components. So he's thinking Adam, Ariel, and Tinashe, which, I mean, really just shows how good these 3 are playing, that he feels so close to them already. So he then selects Adam as he feels like they have the best.
And he also wants to, like, stay on their good side.
Yeah. So Adam is very relieved that he is safe for the week. And Shatner then gives them a message that the hab AI cannot be trusted and that it has already trapped crew members in the airlock, and who knows what else is capable of doing. The hab AI could sabotage the entire mission if they don't act first, and he is afraid that the AI is listening, and they're going to have to reset the software and rescue their crew members. It will test their intelligence and earn them a mission patch. Paul is really worried about what the AI could possibly do. And Porsha says she wants the intelligence patch because she deserves it. Again, Porsha just has the best confessionals.
She's so good.
So Andy and Adam, meanwhile, are denied entry to re-enter the hab. They're literally locked in the airlock. So they're told that in exactly 1 hour, the external door will open, exposing them to the deadly Mars atmosphere. Andy says he wishes he knew this or he would have brought his water. And he also wants to be be the one in front of the steering wheel. And listen, obviously they're not going to die. Like, we know they're not actually going to be like destroyed by like toxic fumes.
No.
But I thought they did a really good job at making it seem like that could actually happen. Like, I thought this was, like I said, I thought overall, like, this was just a really, really well-rounded mission. Like, the way they constructed everything, it felt very believable here. I thought they did a good job with this. So,
definitely.
Andy feels the mission specialist is the cushiest gig of them all, which, I mean, I would agree with this because they basically get to chill while the captain sinks with the ship. And as he was talking with Adam, he realized he is playing the game and thinking about it in terms of maneuvering his way into being the last one here. So it seems like Andy was like really regretting his choice of picking Adam here because he kind of realizes, yeah, he's kind of here for himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think definitely I would agree with him. I think mission specialist is actually the best position you could get because you're not even at risk of leaving if the mission goes AWire. Because, like, we saw it with Tallulah, like she was at risk, but Natasha was not. So, I think I would agree. I think that mission specialist is what everybody should be wanting to get at this point. So, basically, before the mission goes down, Andy tells them how it's going to work in order to conquer the AI and fight it through its destruction. And like I said, everyone here has something different to do, and I really like the way they did this. The first group is going to involve a biker crew, which is going to be Marshawn, Ronda, and Lance. So the athletes, they must try to manually override the system by riding the bike for 20 miles before the time runs out. Kat and Paul, meanwhile, will be locating 2 panel boxes around the Hab exterior and open them by unscrewing the panel box covers. And within each box is a switch in order to reboot the system. This was definitely like the least interesting of the 3, but I still thought it was exciting to watch.
It was pretty fun to watch.
Probably the most unique to me was the remaining 3, Tinashe, Porsha, and Ariel, are basically playing tiny piano. I don't know if you've heard before, but I mean, that's basically what this was. It's a keyboard instrument game with the Hab AI. There's a series of colors that flash on the screen accompanied by musical notes, and they're going to have to use the keys on the keyboard to match the correct color combination and musical notes of a familiar song. To solve the game and any one of them succeeding within the hour will save the 2 of them. The song ended up being Never Gonna Give You Up, which I thought was just great.
That was so good.
Yeah, overall, like I said, what did you think of this mission?
I actually thought it was like really entertaining. It was one of the better ones for sure, and I actually like paid attention to this one a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was very exciting, the way that they handled it. Like I said, I like that everyone kind of had something to do. I like that they also weren't outside for a change. I thought that was cool. Lance didn't get what he wanted. He had to stay inside. So there was that. Yeah, overall, I thought this was just a lot of fun. I want to see more missions.
It was super entertaining.
I thought especially dividing them up into groups, I think those have been the more successful missions. Like the fire one, for example, I thought was really good because they were kind of in groups. The same with this. So thankfully, the mission goes off without a hitch, and it's now time to choose which crew members are safe. So we then get probably one of the most exciting moments, I think, of this entire season.
It's so good.
This,
I love it.
This exchange between Andy and Adam, which Allie here is going to talk about.
All right. Andy tells Adam that Kat and Paul should be saved as they could hear the effort they were making, and they can't do that to them. The winning team should stay, and Adam thinks Ronda should be in the bottom as she has a baby at home and that she misses terribly. And Andy says it should be her and Tinashe and Porsha. And Adam says that
Adam does probably one of the best plays I have seen in a long time. This was so impressive what he does here.
So great. It's impressive. And Adam says that is where it gets a little tricky because he doesn't think that they should have to be put in the position to lead. He thinks that Kat and Paul were in the most uncomfortable position, but was it critical enough to be to the mission? He is desperate to do whatever he can to save Porsha and Tinashe.
Yeah, this was brilliant. Because I feel like if Andy was a little bit more on Adam's level in terms of strategy, he would see right through this. He would realize, no, you're working with Tinashe and Porsha. Like, I feel like this was pretty obvious what was going on. but Adam has done such a good job of like insulating himself to where he kind of makes it seem like this is the ideal move for like the entire team, when really this is just the ideal move for Adam. He knows he has to keep his three together, and that if those three aren't together, he's going to be in a worse position. So I thought this was just so impressive. And to me, I don't know if you agree, this is like a winning move. Like, I feel like Adam could win this game at this point.
I think so too. If he gets to the end, he definitely could, because he's very likable.
Yeah, this was so impressive.
And he's a good speaker.
I mean, we don't know. I don't think it's going to be a jury. I think it's all challenges, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was just so impressive to me, the way he handled this.
Andy then goes ahead and says he is getting choked up being named base commander. 2 days into him being here, he then names off the people that were mission critical. He tells the biker team they are safe, as well as the women working on the piano.
Which, remember, he said the biker team are safe.
Yep. And then tells Kat and Paul we're out there and still had more work to do, so they will be in the bottom. Ronda also has an 18-month-year-old, and he wants to give her that opportunity to make that decision again, so he's putting her there too.
Which, listen, Andy has done some really good work up to this point. I think he ruins it all, honestly.
He was literally misted.
Yeah, Adam just did such a great job of just completely misting Andy here. I honestly think he kind of ruined his game in seconds. Just
because like Kat and Paul were literally like his closest allies, and the people
this
that
was horrible. Because I feel like if
especially Kat, like Kat trusted him completely.
Yeah, Kat especially was like going to be so loyal to him. This was so bad for Andy, and like I said, I think the beginning of this episode, I was like, oh my God, Andy's in such a good position. And I think he just ruined it in seconds.
Yeah, like we'll see what happens if he can do damage control, but we'll see. Ugh.
Yeah.
Kat is super disappointed and confused and a little pissed, which actually
she should be. My God.
Like she put all her trust into him.
Yeah.
She thinks it's bullshit as they were out there in a suit. Well, some of them were playing games, but clearly that didn't count for shit. She has been a competitor her whole life and feels they both gave everything they had and feels it's super unfair to them but be in the bottom three.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Cora is great reality TV, and this is very much what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Kat makes a pitch saying she is mission critical because she spent hours in the field risking her life for the team. They all agree confidence is a good asset to move forward.
I love that she was like, I was and am mission critical. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
But you could just tell how pissed she was.
Oh, she's so mad. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Paul thinks he also is mission critical for a lot of the same reasons as their job was the most difficult based on what they had to do. And so he and Kat worked hard and sacrificed for the team and will do anything moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that Paul was really fired up here too.
Yep. Ronda says no one knows anything better about Mars than her, but she's going to have to step down on this mission. She's got to go to Earth and take care of her daughter. And she's enjoyed her time on Mars with all of them so much more than she ever dreamed possible. And it's been an amazing experience. And she's so glad that she got to spend time with all of them because she loves and respects them all so much.
Yeah, I was a little sad to see Ronda basically just like back out here because I really wanted to see one of Kat or Paul go. I think it would have been really just like it would have been just absolutely crazy if like Andy basically sacrificed one of his allies like that quickly.
Yeah, like if another newbie left.
But I will say that like it made sense for Ronda to go here because like she was very checked out of this episode.
Oh yeah, that was like a lot of the episode too.
Yeah,
like when she was torn.
Yeah.
Annie says it's up to her, but she was on the winning team that got them there. Tinashe says she has put in the time and has been a really important part of their family unit, but also as a friend to Ronda. But she thinks if she wants to go, it makes a lot of sense because they support her. Ronda says she is super mission critical, but she's got to step down, which they agree on, and she hypes them all up and wishes them good luck. Ronda says she's kind of conflicted about being out and misses everyone already, but she is so excited to go home and see her baby.
Yeah, let's talk about Ronda for a little bit. I really like getting to see Ronda on this season. She played a lot differently than I expected her to. I expect her to kind of just be like, kind of just good at comms, and not great everything else. I kind of expect her to be like Misha in Celebrity Big Brother 3, where like she's great at winning comps. She's good at the physical aspect, but she's not good at the social aspect and things like that. But no, she was really good, I think, socially. Like she came in like really introverted, and by the end I thought made some really solid relationships, and I think she definitely could have gotten really far if she wasn't so focused on her family, but obviously that's going to come first. And I wouldn't call this a quit. I really wouldn't, because they did give her that decision. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like she specifically volunteered. They basically handed it to her on a silver platter and she decided to take it. Like, I would not say this was a quit at all.
No, it wasn't a quit. She was just like, I feel like stepping down because I miss my family and everything. And
yeah, anything else you want to say about Ronda before we talk about the rest of the episode?
Yeah, I actually like really enjoyed getting to know her more and watching her, just because she actually really surprised me a lot. So it's definitely a little like sad and disheartening seeing her go, but it definitely makes sense too, because she did miss her family, which is super important. But I really enjoyed watching her, and she just seems like a very nice, genuine person.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to see, like I said before, I think it's cool to get to see a celebrity that's known for something else be something completely different here, because we really got to see this more like scientific, like brainiac side of Ronda that I don't think we've really gotten to see before, and I really like the way they tapped into that here.
Exactly.
Like, especially like her like early on with her and like the crops. I thought that was honestly like one of the like most wholesome things about this show, was just her tending to like that those crops and like just wanting to make it like as good as possible. I thought that was great.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, definitely sad to see Ronda go, but she gets to reunite with her family, and that's what's important. So
that's all that's important for sure. And just like and her experience.
Definitely.
With Ronda gone, Andy hands them all patches for intelligence.
And we get some really spicy stuff at the end here.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Kat says she's a little pissed, and Andy's made a safe decision because he's a new guy and doesn't want to step on a senior member's toes. And she thought it was frankly fucked up. And she goes to him and he says he doesn't expect her to forgive him, and she calls him a shithead.
She did not hold back at all. Like, he's like, I hope you can forgive me. She's like, yeah, you're a shithead. Like, it was so good.
Oh, it's so funny. He thinks when he pissed off Cora, she stays pissed off.
Hell yeah, she does.
Oh yeah. He talks to everyone and says he just wanted to apologize and didn't expect her to forgive. And Tinashe says it's a bad position to be in when he's base commander.
Which basically translates to, yeah, you're fucked. I feel like that's basically what she was saying here.
Well, we don't want Kat or Paul to get base commander next, or do we?
Well, I mean, I do for the fireworks.
I mean, I do too, because it'd be entertaining.
Yeah, because they're probably going to put Andy in the bottom no matter what.
Yeah, we'll see. Kat cries to Porsha and Tinashe and says it's hard when you've been doing this for so long. And Porsha says no one actually thought she deserved to be in the bottom three. And it becomes way more important than they expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andy's fucked here. I really do. I think he made a catastrophic decision for his game. And I think if he doesn't leave next week, he's going to leave like really soon. Because I think it's really bad for him.
Yeah, I do too. Like, he either leaves next or maybe like soon.
Yeah, I mean, because especially for
unless he makes unless he does damage control.
Well, especially like based on what Porsha was saying, like I feel like Portia's also really pissed at Andy. So yeah, I don't know. And Porsha has a lot to say in the house right now, so I don't know what's gonna happen here. I feel like Andy's like not in a good spot at all.
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, we're down to 8 at this point. I think 9.
I think something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's single digits. I know that. But yeah, really, really exciting stuff, I think. The show has picked up tremendously. And I will say, I've been bullshitting. It is not 8 episodes. It is 12 episodes. Next week is not the finale.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, considering how many people are left, it wouldn't have made sense to do 8 episodes. But
unless all they did was eliminations.
Yeah, no challenges.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That would be actually.
But yeah, as of right now, like if I had to say, I really think the top 4 is going to be some combination of like the 3 that was formed, I think they are going to make it. And I feel like Ariel's also going to be there. But also, I feel like Kat is a wild card right now. I think if you had to,
I can see that too.
Like right now, who's going to make it? And it's going to be really shocking that they do. It's going to be Kat. Like, I just think she's
I can see that. Unless, like, Adam or someone is, like, still... Because he was, like, obviously, like, really, like, surprised and trusted Andy. So I can also see Andy sneak in there, maybe, if he does... Especially if he does some damage control.
I mean, the thing is, though, Adam just completely just fucked Andy over.
But I also still see Marshawn making the end, because he's just so entertaining.
I don't know at this point.
I don't know.
He could. I just don't know.
I also do feel like Marshawn's been more like chill lately.
Oh, he definitely has. Aside from the whole thing with Ariel, yeah.
Yeah, he's just been more like low key. He's probably just trying to like not be too out there.
I mean, yeah, he knows he definitely needs to kind of play it cool considering how he was like the first couple weeks. But yeah, I think right now, I think the next person's going to be Paul or Andy. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Because
I don't know. I kind of feel I could see it being Paul just because he has been in the bottom now a couple times.
Well, Paul's basically where Tom was in the beginning. So
yeah,
I feel like he's kind of on his way out.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But I'm hoping we did see in the promo. I don't know if you saw, but Adam does end up in the bottom 3 next week. So I'm hoping that things work out for him. I don't think he's
I don't want him to accidentally leave.
I don't think he would, because I think that Tinashe and Porsha are going to write it out for him, and and Tinashe especially has a lot of say. So I feel like he's going to be okay. I think people would need to worry about, like I said, are like Andy, Paul, Lance. I think it's definitely something to worry about. Not yet, but later on. Marshawn, I'm not sure, honestly. He's kind of a question mark right now. I feel like, honestly, the younger people are in a much better spot.
I also feel like Ariel's also kind of like a question mark too right now.
I think she's gonna make it far. I just feel like
I see her making it far, but I don't think I see her making it in the end. But we'll see.
No, I think she's gonna get like 5th or 4th.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's kind of what I see. But anything else we want to say before we wrap this up?
Just stay tuned for Claim to Fame. We're doing the last.
Wait. Oh, there we go.
Yes, we have the recent 2 episodes to watch and cover, which we will do later on. Yes. And then we also stay tuned for Secret Chef. We haven't watched that yet, but we will be covering that. I don't
have the thing for that yet.
Yeah, whenever we cover that, it'll be just a season review. And then stay tuned for our BB24 review. And then
I was gonna say something about that. If you don't know, because I don't think people know, there's a little show called Big Brother coming back next week, and there's this elephant in the room called BB24. We haven't reviewed it yet. We watched one. We covered one episode and then said fuck the rest of this. But then we ended up watching the rest of the season because we had one of the best winners in the entire show. So we decided to watch the rest of the season. So, all of this to say, we will be doing a BB24 overview. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently than how we normally talk about reality shows, but I have a way to kind of condense it so we can just kind of do it in one video, and I think it's going to work.
So it doesn't like drag on and everything.
Yeah, I think it's going to work by doing it this way. I'll talk. You guys will get to see that when it's in the video, but I'm very excited to talk about this season. It's a very interesting season. Like, honestly, kind of an anomaly, I feel like, that we don't normally get to see. So I'm very excited to get to finally talk about it. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. And then eventually, we're going to be covering things like The Circle, The Traitors, The Mole, which is coming back soon, apparently. Yeah, I mean, like we say every single week, as this writer's strike continues to go on, reality shows are basically going to dominate the conversation for a bit. So, yeah, we'll have a lot of stuff to cover. So definitely look forward to that.
Definitely.
I think.
And then obviously in the fall, Survivor.
Yes. I think we're also going to do an HSM, the musical, the series final season review, because we did it for
seasons,
so we probably
especially since they're just releasing the whole season at once.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm just wondering, like, why. I do wish they released it weekly.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that.
But I am very excited for it. I hope it's really good.
I have some worries, but I am very excited, yes. And we'll get into that when we get into that season and unpacking everything. But other than that, that's it for this video. It wasn't 2 hours, so I'll give it that.
Hour and a half, not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't terribly long, but it was longer than the other ones, admittedly. I'm very excited to see how the rest of
we just had lots to say about 3 episodes.
Well, yeah, especially episode 6. My God, there was so much to talk about. But yeah, other than that, that's it for our video of Stars on Mars. As always, comment down below. Let us know what you guys are thinking about the show overall. I don't feel like a lot of people are watching this show. And I hope they do, because I'm really liking what it's turning out to be. And I do think there's definitely room for improvement with this concept, but I'm personally really liking it overall.
I do too. Like, it's actually like a really fun show.
Yeah. But other than that, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, couples who podcast together, stay together. We will see you guys later.
Have a good day.